fasting. It's one of those words that sounds kind of ancient. It makes you think of these intense spiritual practices, maybe something a little extreme for our world today. But what if I told you that you already fast, like every single day? Let's dive into the surprising connection between this ancient discipline and your morning routine. So let's just jump right in with a question that might sound a little out there. What if you're already fasting every day? I know, that sounds pretty intense, but hear me out, because the answer is not only really surprising, it might actually change how you think about the most important meal of the day. Okay, here's the secret. It's right there in the word breakfast. It literally means to break the fast. Think about it. Every night while you're asleep, you're fasting. And that first meal in the morning, that's you breaking your fast. It's pretty wild to think this ancient practice is just woven right into our language. But as we're about to see, biblical fasting is about a whole lot more than just the hours between dinner and your morning coffee. So, if biblical fasting isn't just about accidentally skipping a meal, then what is it? Why would anyone, voluntarily choose to go without food and sometimes even water? Let's get right to the heart of it. What's the real purpose here? Well, the biblical definition is super clear. It's about intentionally saying no to food and sometimes water for a specific period of time. And the goal, it's not about losing weight or doing a cleanse. It's all about seeking a deeper connection with God, humbling yourself, and really aiming for spiritual renewal. And what's so fascinating is that fasting wasn't just for one thing. It was this powerful, super versatile practice. People fasted to show humility, to repent for something they did wrong, to ask for guidance, even to grieve. It was a spiritual tool for pretty much every major human experience you can think of. And these aren't just, abstract ideas. They're tied to these deeply personal stories. Taking David, when his baby son was dying, he fasted for 7 straight days. It was this raw, powerful act of a father's love and absolute desperation, a plea right from the depths of his soul. And it wasn't just for personal crises either. When the entire Jewish nation was facing annihilation, Queen Esther called for everyone to fast together. Can you imagine an entire people, from the queen down to the everyday person, all united in this single act, just hoping for deliverance from a threat that seemed totally impossible to beat? And here's another angle, fasting for guidance. Before leading a huge group of people on a really dangerous journey back home to Jerusalem, this leader, Ezra, called for a fast. They were literally asking for protection, for a safe path. It was their way of saying, look, we can't do this on our own. We absolutely need God's help here. So all these stories, they all lead us to this really crucial point, a question that gets to the very heart of what fasting is supposed to be about. It really challenges us to look past the physical act itself and think about the real motivation behind it. Right. So is fasting just a spiritual trick to get what you want? Is it like a way of trying to twist God's arm, saying, hey, I'll give up food if you give me what I'm asking for? Well, the Bible is actually super clear on this. Yeah, you can absolutely fast for all the wrong reasons. And this is where we see the two paths laid out. The prophet Isaiah really calls out people who are fasting just for show, to win arguments or to make themselves look super holy. God's not into that. What he wants is a fast that has a real-world impact. We're talking about freeing people from injustice, lifting their burdens, and ending oppression. This verse, this is the real game changer. True fasting isn't about what you're not eating. It's about what you're doing for other people. It's about letting your own hunger connect you to the hunger for justice out there in the world. It's about your heart breaking for the same things that break God's heart, and then actually doing something about it. Okay, so if the real point of fasting is about our hearts and our actions, then how do we do it right? Well, Jesus actually gave some really clear instructions on the how-to, and it all boils down to one key idea. It's an inside job. And the rules are surprisingly simple. Basically, don't make a big show of it. Don't walk around looking all sad and gloomy so people ask you what's wrong and you can tell them how spiritual you are. No. Instead, wash your face, look normal, and just keep it a secret between you and God. Because the reward you're looking for is from God, not from a round of applause from other people. This brings us to our final, and maybe the most important insight about all this. If fasting is really about our inner world and our secret devotion to God, then it's not some tool we just pull out for special occasions. It's actually meant to be something much more integrated into our lives. See, fasting isn't an emergency button you press only when you're in big trouble. It's meant to be a regular practice, a spiritual discipline that's woven into the rhythm of your life. It's a consistent choice to deny the physical in order to focus on the spiritual. And once you start looking, you see this pattern everywhere in the Bible. The most devout people, like the widow Anna, they fasted constantly. The early church, they fasted and prayed before making any big decisions, like sending out missionaries. And the Apostle Paul, he listed fastings as just a normal part of his life, right up there with getting shipwrecked. It was just part of the lifestyle. And that brings us full circle. Fasting, when you boil it all down, is the simple act of choosing to go without. And that raises a question for all of us, right? No matter what you believe. In a world that is constantly screaming at us to want more, to buy more, to consume more, what's the real value in intentionally choosing less? What could that simple choice mean for your life, for your focus, and for your soul?